Hey guys, so this video is called Serial Peripheral Idiot, and for very good reason, and I'll explain. Now, if you recall, I was designing an NRF24L01 board, and I have done that. It's perfectly fine, it's worked out well. I got some PCBs delivered from PCBs.io. These are brilliant little boards. Very impressed with the quality of these, the delivery time, and the cost. It was really, really cheap, something like $5, I think. And I got 5 of them. I've lost one. I think I threw it away in the package. I'm not sure. There were 5, although you're only meant to get 4, but they're really, really brilliant. The solder mask came out brilliantly, and it's just nice. I had been developing NRF stuff on a breadboard like this, but I could use a smaller breadboard, but really it's just going to be more bulky. You've got wires flying around all over the place. It's just, the chance of plugging something in wrong is increased. So I thought, why not make a shield? And so I designed this thing. I got it sent off and printed. The problem was I'd got my Mozzie and Mizo lines mixed up in the schematic, and so when it came to these getting printed out, they were on the wrong pins, obviously. So completely my fault. But luckily, because I'd used wires to get them where they needed to go, it meant that I could switch it around. So I've had to cut the tracks on the bottom. You'll see a couple of cut marks there. And then I've sort of jumpered them across with wires, which works perfectly fine. I didn't understand why it didn't work for a while, because I didn't catch that until I started testing it. So this is a sort of fully put together one. We've got power that can go in here, and it will use the regulator on the bottom of the Nano. So it'd have to be like 7 to 13 volts or something, 7 to 12 volts, something like that. We've got this one's a TMP36, I believe, but you can use an LM35, they're pin compatible, and also the DHT22 or 11 that you could pop on the bottom. Unfortunately, I don't have any of those at the moment, so I will have to pick some up. That's a temperature and humidity one, whereas this one's just a temperature one. Now, they fit on just like this. Let's find out where V-in is. So V-in's over here. So they just slot straight on like that. And then you can just plug in your USB to the standard Nano thing to power it if you want to, or you can plug in power. So that is a lot cleaner than a breadboard version. But unfortunately, I did mix up my Mozzie and Mizo lines, which is why it's Serial Peripheral Idiot. Anyway, this thing's working quite well now. Let's plug it in. Okay, I've just figured out why it's not flashing. That's because I haven't plugged in the base station. However, it does work, thankfully. I'm working with some software made by Dave Parsons. You can find him on YouTube. He did Mom's Timer. And it's a really nice bit of software. It's simpler than the RF24 library that I generally use for these NRF24L01 modules. And that's fine for me. I don't need all these sort of special functions. I'm working on a way of having these automatically add themselves to the network. So imagine I had 10 of these. If I plugged them in one by one, they would all connect themselves. And it's because I don't want there to be individual code for each one of these modules. I want it to be one file I upload with the receiver specifying what ID this one gets. So they all start off with the same ID, the same address, and they'll send a unique value, a random number generated each time the board is restarted, to the base station, and then the base station will return a radio ID that this one can use to communicate. So it's just a simple way of having a self-generating, self-regenerating and organizing network, I guess. Right, well, I've quickly plugged in the base station so that we can see this working, and I've popped in the NRF24L01. So you can see on the bottom, the light should sort of flash I think it's every 5 seconds, something like that. So it is communicating with the base station, and everything's working fine. The base station's got some different codes, so we'll explain that at another time. But for now, I'm really happy. So thanks a lot for watching.